Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of my Facebook Live friends, to all of my YouTube credit repair followers. Once again, it's your boy, it's your friend, it's the credit doctor, Angelo McCutcheon, coming to you with another quick video on the credit repair process. First of all, we want to thank everybody who have been following us and have been tuning in to all of our videos and have been subscribing to our YouTube page. Thank you. We appreciate it so much. Now, today, of course, we're going to be talking about some evidence, some things that came up about the credit bureaus. And I think this is going to be interesting in particular to a lot of you guys who actually do credit repair. And I would reference to a lot of my YouTube people who do credit repair and have been wondering why the credit bureaus have not been responding to a lot of their dispute letters. So we're going to get into that. Definitely, we're going to be getting into that. But real quick, just want to give a quick announcement. You guys know that for this month of January, we are giving a discount on our services. We're taking $100 off of our normal price to help you repair your credit. And if you're interested in that, and this is only for the month of January, then please, if you're watching this on Facebook, just inbox me. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely, you can email me. You can put it in a comment that you're interested, and we'll reach back out to you. Of course, my email address and all of my information will be in the description down below. Now, on YouTube, I can let you see you in these mirrors. And YouTube, I can make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that follow button. Leave a comment, of course. Share the video. All right. So my Facebook Live people, make sure you share the video. Hit the like and share button. Of course, even if you're watching this as a replay, hit that button, because we want to definitely give you the information that we need. And again, Happy New Year to everybody as we go into the year 2022. I know a lot of you guys have made some, I won't say reservations, but have set some goals for this year, right? Set some goals for this year. And a lot of your goals definitely includes getting your credit together. And if you've been following me, and if you've been following my podcast, which is the Credit Repair Show on any podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, just look for the Credit Repair Show. We've been giving out, we've done about 50, close to 50 episodes already. We've gotten over 5,000 downloads already in 9 months. So we've really been putting out the information, because everybody know what our motto is. You do not have to live with bad credit. There is something you can absolutely do about it. And we just try to give you the information. We try to give you the knowledge so you can actually start that process on your own. I am not a lawyer, nor do I play one on Facebook or YouTube. Right. So all the information I'm giving you is for entertainment purposes only. If you need legal advice, then we ask you to seek out legal counsel for that. But all the information we give you is for entertainment purposes only, so you can help and improve your credit score. All right. So let's get into it. And that's our motto for this, but that's our special for this year, for this month, the month of January. We're taking $100 off of our normal prices. So if you sign up this month, before this month is over, you get a $100 discount off our prices. So definitely hit me up if you're interested. You can email me at creditrepair64@gmail.com, or Facebook, just inbox me, message me, whatever that is you want to use. You can follow me on Instagram as well. You can at Credit Repair 64, and you can follow me on TikTok as well at the Credit Doctor 64. All right, those are just many of our platforms. And don't forget to watch our show every Tuesday night or every other Tuesday night. We have conversations with entrepreneurs every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. All right, so that's what we're doing, and that's what's on the agenda, and that's what's on the table. So let's go into it. Now, for all of you guys who do credit repair and have either you've been trying to fix your credit on your own, or you have a company where you help people repair their credit. Now, you guys know since 2020, when the pandemic actually took full effect in 2020, the credit bureaus, the government actually gave the credit bureaus an extension as far as, and this goes like maybe to the end of 2019 into 20, as far as them responding to dispute letters. Normally it was 30 days, but during the pandemic, they actually gave them like 60 days, close to 60 days to respond to that. And the credit bureaus really took advantage of that to the point where that was 2021, they were not responding to hardly any dispute letters. And me being able to talk to other people who do credit repair and ask them, are your clients getting responses back from dispute letters? Was constantly no. Every now and then one gets one back, but the majority of the time, none of them was getting any dispute letters back. And that's the same problem I had in 2019 and before 2019. I mean, the credit bureaus were responding to just about 90% of the letters that we would send out in 2019, 18, 17, and under that. But from 2020 and 21, and now as we get ready to go to 22, they have not been responding. At first, I thought I was the only one having that problem, right? And I send dispute letters out on behalf of my clients for information on their credit report that were inaccurate or incomplete or unverifiable, because that's all we look at when we counsel our clients. What is inaccurate about this account? What is unverifiable about this account? What is incomplete about this account? Once we establish that with the client, then we know how to send out the dispute letters. But in doing so, the credit bureaus were still not responding. And basically for every 10 to 20 letters that we would send out on behalf of our clients, dispute letters, disputing inaccurate information, maybe 1 or 2 of our clients was getting responses. 2 out of 20. Every 20, only 2 basically was getting responses. And that is not good, because before 2020, if we sent out 20 responses, about 18 of them was getting, we sent out dispute letters. About 18 of them was getting responses from the credit bureaus. They was actually doing their job. But since the pandemic hit, and now from 2020, 21, every 20 letters, I'm just averaging out, every 20 letters we would send out, maybe 2 would get responses. And like I said at first, was that something was that me? But I found out it was across the board with even people who were sending out dispute letters on their own or working with companies, credit repair companies. They were getting the same results. And guess what? Maybe 2 days ago, I found out why. I received in my email, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau releases a report detailing consumer complaints, responses, deficiencies of the 3 major credit bureaus. In other words, the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is part of the government where they deal with consumer credit. They deal with the credit bureaus. They deal with the law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They're like the watchdog to make sure the credit bureaus were doing what they need to do. Excuse me. That all 3 credit bureaus were doing what they need to do, like the watchdogs, right? And if they're not doing that, they would sue them and, warn them about, hey, certain practices that are violating the law. Well, they came out and they found out why, and I found out when I saw this, I was like, you can't be serious. This is why they were not responding to the disputes. And I was like, are you serious about that? Are you serious? Now, if you guys are making comments, if you're in a Facebook Live, my Facebook Live, and you want me to see your comments in the StreamYard chat room, you would have to click on the link that's above the video that says Give StreamYard. Click on that link, and then if you make a comment, I will be able to see it. If not, I would have to only be able to see your comment when I get off of here and go back on Facebook Live and look at it. All right. So you want me to see your comment, you got to click on the link, the StreamYard link. And then once you click on that link, it'll allow you to make comments, or when you post your comments, I will see it in the chat room here. All right. YouTube, if you're on YouTube watching this live, you can just make a comment and I'll be able to see it. All right, so I found out, and this is what I found. I'm going to read some of this information to you guys. Now, I wish I can get all of my clients to watch this video. I wish I can get them all to watch this video, because I know some of them was thinking like, wow, we're not getting no responses. Is he sending out dispute letters? Is he really doing this? Is he really, what's going on here? Because all of 20 and 21, I tell you, no lie, whenever I call my clients, hey, did you get any responses? No. 18 out of 20 would say no, we get no responses from the credit bureau. Even if we sent them out certified letter, they still wasn't responding. 2 out of every 20 is a low number. And it made it seem like we who do credit repair were not doing our job. And I knew it was something different about that. I knew there was something wrong about it, because I was like, wait a minute. They went from 2019, 18, 17 back, responding to out of every 20 letters we send, they respond to 18, to now 20 and 21. But for every letters we send out, they only respond to 2. Yeah, something crazy about that. So this is what we found. And I'm reading from this right here. All right, this came directly from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the watchdog for the consumer credit. And it's titled, this is the title, CFPB, that's the initials, releases report detailing consumer complaint response deficiencies of the big 3 credit bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion routinely fail to fully respond to consumers with errors. And this is what it says. I'm going to read a little bit and talk a little bit. And make sure you're on Facebook, you hit that like and you hit that share button, because this is very important. A new analysis by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau revealed how changes in complaint responses provided by nationwide consumer reporting companies resulted in fewer meaningful responses and less consumer relief. In 2021, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion together reported relief in responses to less than 2%, of covered complaints, down from nearly 25% of covered complaints in 2019. So just taking 2019, where they respond to 25% of the complaints, let's say dispute letters, I'll make it simple for us, dispute letters that were sent out to them, 25%, to 2021, they were down to just 2%. Or actually it says less than 2%. Wow, interesting. I wonder why they were doing that. I wonder why. To try to make us who help people with their credit feel like we're not doing our job. Yeah, that could be a reason. But guess what? They've been caught. They have been caught. Hand in a cookie jar once again. Let's read on. America's credit reporting has little incentive to treat consumers fairly when their credit reports have errors. And this was said by the CFPB director, Copra. He said, quote, today's report is full further evidence of the serious harm stemming from their faulty financial surveillance business model. So the head of the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, said once again, the credit bureaus have failed us or failing us. And again, if you've seen my video that I did on YouTube, why the credit bureaus do not like you, you need to watch that video. You really need to watch that video. It'll tell you exactly why they don't like you. And there's further evidence now, the fact that they're not even responding to dispute letters, which is crazy because that's what they're supposed to do. Let me continue to read. Credit reporting plays a critical role in consumer lives. Absolutely. The fact that, they can send out dispute letters is important when they see errors on their credit report. Credit reporting plays a critical role in consumer lives and has an enormous reach beyond consumer financial services. More than 200 million Americans have credit files, and lenders rely on this information to decide whether to approve loans and on what terms. Over 200 million Americans have credit files, and lenders rely on this credit file to determine whether they're going to give you a loan for the mortgage, a loan for the car, a credit card, a loan from the bank. And if the credit bureaus are not being diligent in recognizing that they have errors on consumers' credit report, and consumers are writing in letters to dispute those errors, to fix it so that they could be in a position where they can get the mortgage, where they can be in a position where they can get the car or get a credit card. That plays a big, big part. All right. Consumer reporting also informs decisions about employment, insurance, housing, and even essential utilities. Now, if anybody seen my video on what is credit repair, or I talked about everybody's looking at your credit. Everybody wants to look at your credit, right? It's not just the mortgage companies anymore and the car companies, but you get cable TV, they're looking at your credit. You get light turned on in your home, utilities turned on in your home, they want to see your credit. You go looking for apartments, they want to see your credit. Insurance companies want to see your credit. So if everybody wants to see your credit, then it's important. And if you have errors and mistakes on your credit, you need to have that fixed. And if you're sending out dispute letters to have that information fixed and the credit bureaus are ignoring it, then they're doing harm to the consumer who needs those errors removed. Where are my attorneys at? Where are my consumer attorneys at? Because this seems to me, and I'm not an attorney, but it seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Maybe. We'll see. We have to talk to the consumers, the attorneys. For consumers, inaccuracies on credit reports drive up the cost of credit and severely limits opportunities, such as starting a small business or buying a new home. How many of you guys actually want to start a business? How many of you guys want to buy a new home? How many guys just want to get your credit score in the 700s? Well, if you're doing the right thing, if you're finding these inaccuracies on your credit report and you're sending out the dispute letters, but they are being ignored by the credit bureau for whatever reason, then they are doing more harm to you. They're hurting you as a consumer, or hurting us as the consumer. And something needs to be done about that. They should not be able to get away with that. Let me read on a little bit more. Consumers submitted more than 700,000 complaints to the CFPB regarding Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion from January 2020 through September of 2021. 700,000 dispute letters or complaints to the CFPB, I should say. And those were complaints saying that, hey, the credit bureaus are not responding to my dispute letters. They're not fixing these errors that's on my credit report. So they had to investigate, and this is basically what they came up to, why they haven't been doing that. And we're going to get to that in a minute. The CFPB found the three companies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, often fail to provide substantial responses, especially when they allege the complaints were sent in by third parties. However, in other words, let me stop right there. In other words, when the CFPB started getting all these complaints, they said, hey, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, why aren't you responding to these dispute letters. The three major credit bureaus came back and said, hey, we believe that they're coming from third parties. In other words, we believe that they're coming from, not from the consumer itself, but we believe they're coming from credit repair companies working with the consumer. And if it's coming from a third party, we don't have to respond. Well, how do they know it? First of all, how do they know that? And second of all, is that wrong? How do they know it's coming from a third party and not the consumer itself? How do they know that the consumer have not given a third party power of attorney to work on their behalf? How do they know that? They're just picking and choosing who they feel. I mean, that's an easy way out to pay. Oh, this easy way so you don't have to do investigations. Just say that it's coming from a third party. We believe this is coming from a third party. How you know that? You have no evidence for that. But look what the CFPB said in response to that. However, consumers can authorize third-party representatives to submit complaints on their behalf. So the fact that you told the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that you haven't been responding because you believe they're coming from a third party, basically credit repair companies, the CFPB came back and said, wait a minute, even if it was, the consumer has the right to use a third party representative. They have the right to, they authorize them to do it on their behalf. They have the right to do that. Let's read on. And I'm just about done here. The Fair Credit Reporting Act requires Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion to conduct a review of complaints sent to them through the CFPB where consumers allege there is incomplete or inaccurate information to fix the problem with the company. The companies must then report their determination and actions for these covered complaints to the CFPB. Today's report shows, in other words, people start complaining, say, hey, they're not investigating my dispute. So they start complaining to the government. And the government went to them and said, hey, how come you guys are not doing this? And they said, well, we believe these letters are coming from the third party. And then they said, well, they have the right to come from a third party. Complete your investigations. Let us know what you're doing, basically. And they said, this is how the credit bureaus responded to the government, basically. Today's report shows Equifax most often promise to open investigations and send the results to the consumers at later dates, but it would fail to provide the CFPB with the outcome of the investigations. In other words, they said, okay, we're going to do that, but yet they still didn't do it. TransUnion made similar promises and frequently failed to provide outcome of investigations to the CFPB. It basically said the same thing. For many complaints, Experian frequently stated it would take no action because it believed the complaints were submitted by third parties. Again, Experian just want to be bold. They know they're the big boys of the three, but they just want to be bold. We ain't even going to respond. We ain't even trying to respond. These letters are coming from third parties, coming from credit repair companies. I mean, they just bold with it. They just bold with it. And let's look at medical debts. Let's see what they say about medical debts, because a lot of people have medical debts. Now, check this out. One of the main sources of consumer debt that can lead to consumer reporting inaccuracies and mistakes is medical bills. How many of you guys have medical bills that you're dealing with? And I've had clients be like, wait a minute, my insurance is supposed to take care of that, or my insurance is supposed to pay that. Well, I didn't know I was responsible for that because they didn't tell me. If I'm getting this letter 6 months later that I owe this medical debt, or 9 months later, and a lot of times it's filled with inaccuracies. The balance is not the correct balance and things like that. So it says, one of the main sources of consumer debt that can lead to consumer reporting inaccuracies and mistakes is medical bills. Consumers find that the pricing, the complex system of insurance coverage, and frequent delays in consumers finally receiving bills create an unnavigatable and it can make it harder to resolve billing errors. Billing errors. So even when it comes to medical bills, overall, consumers describe a consumer reporting system that is not working for them, and the serious consequence that follows when inaccurate information is and remain on their consumer reports. Other key findings: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion relied heavily on template complaint responses instead of providing meaningful and thoughtful responses to consumers, despite having up to 60 days to respond. No, they just responded with templates. With templates. How crazy is that? Yep, dentists and the doctors, they're known for that. They are definitely known for that. And here they just get to the point where they just being bold with it. And they have, instead of 30, they have 60 days to respond since the pandemic. It's another one. The collection agency does communicate with the doctor's office. So if you're paying, they don't know exactly. They don't communicate. They really don't communicate. They just buy a bill, buy a debt, and then that's it. I know what you was trying to say. Hey, Morale, this is you making those comments. Okay, my sister, appreciate you. But yes, absolutely. And the law, and I'm reading from the Consumer Financial Protection. This actually just came out January the 5th. Just came out January 5th, highlighting how the credit bureaus are not responding to dispute letters, or have not been responding to dispute letters since the pandemic, which is 2020 and 2021. And now going into 2022, they're saying, hey, the government said, you got to stop that. You got to start responding. And when I would talk to other credit repair people, they was like, yeah, you got to send out certified mail. But even sending out certified mail, they were still picking and choose who they wanted to respond to, which is crazy, right? So now this says they use templates. We all know they use templates, really, in a lot of cases. It also says, these are some of the key findings that the government have. Beginning in early 2020, Experian and TransUnion stopped providing substantial responses to consumer complaints if they suspected that a third party was involved in submitting a complaint, which the government already says that's not an excuse, because a consumer can authorize a third party representative to send out complaint or dispute letters on their behalf. And they do. Listen, they receive, I just read again that, let me just read this. And this morning, that they just picked out one thing. It says consumers submitted close to 700,000 complaints just to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau about complaints of the credit bureaus. Because they get like thousands or millions of complaints on a daily basis, and they only have thousands of workers. So yes, absolutely. And that's why errors end up on your credit reports. Why errors end up on your credit report, believe it or not. And that's why I always tell clients, some clients are quick to say, well, that's mine. Well, we're not, that's okay if it's yours. Are they reporting that information 100% accurate? And when the government did their study, or had a study done, they found out that 79% of credit reports have errors on it. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that anything that goes on your credit report has to be 100% accurate. 100% accurate, right? So that's what I just want to let you guys know. To all my clients out there, this is why we now have a legitimate reason to what we were always believing, that the credit bureaus were just ignoring our dispute letters, just outright ignoring them. So I guess now with this finding that the government's going to put a little bit more pressure on them to start responding, that you don't have the right to choose and pick and choose which one you believe is from a third party, because they have the right to do that. I wonder if it's just easier for doctors to sell the debt than contact the insurer. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's easier for them to just sell the debt to a debt collector and move on to the next patient, so to speak. Absolutely. But that's where we're at. And so I'm encouraged to the fact that the government now has a beat on this. They have something to go on now, and they've given us the ammo to think that, hey, we're not crazy. You know, they just haven't been responded. Our letters were not getting lost in the mail. They just wasn't responding to the dispute letters. And so I believe now going forward, they're going to have to start responding more, because the government, I believe, is going to put their foot on their neck. You say, hey, too many consumers are being affected by inaccuracies on their credit report, and that needs to be taken care of. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so very much. To all my YouTube people, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. To all my Facebook Live people, make sure you share the video. And this is the truth about the credit bureaus, as founded by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Let's get the word out to all people. If you're doing your own credit, this is the reason why they haven't been responding. If you know people that you've been working with or working with credit repair companies, let them know, okay, this is the reason. We found out the reason why we wasn't getting responses, because they was picking and choosing. Out of 20, and I'm just using an example, out of 20 letters that they would receive, they would only respond to 2 and say the other 18, forget about them. We believe, let's just say they came from a third party. And that's unfair to the consumer, very unfair. So we're going to continue to do what we do as credit repair companies, to work with our clients and keep sending out those dispute letters. Our attorneys that work with my company, at least, will continue to file lawsuits when we feel that violations are being met on behalf of our clients. Guess what, you guys? You know, I keep a record, but we're up to over $150,000 of lawsuit money filed by all the attorneys that I've worked with over the last 4 years that have been paid out to my clients, over $150,000, and still ticking. So again, if you ready to get your credit cleaned up, this is 2022. You want to start on that road, make sure you hit me up. We do have a special for this month with my company, the Faithful Credit Group, LLC. We're taking $100 off our normal price just for the month of January. After that, we go back to our regular price. But if you like a free consultation, inbox me, message me, email me. All my information will be in the description, of course, down below. And we will make that happen for you. So with that, I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us until we meet again. You guys stay blessed. Whatever you do, stay blessed. But what's even more important is that you are a blessing.